This tiny tweak will definitely improve your breakout trading skills, I can guarantee it. This strategy is fairly simple but hard to master, so make sure to practice it on demo account before attempting it. But I can guarantee you once you practice it, you will become better. So Lions, make sure to listen up and enjoy the video. So this is your first day of trading and you see this scenario on Euro USD. And you draw your area of sensitivity. Now you say to yourself, well, I'm going to wait for a breakout and then I'm going to enter for a nice trade. 30 minutes later, you see this huge candlestick towards the upside and you say, yep, this is the one. It's going towards the upside. It's very bullish. I'm going to buy. You quickly set up all your take profit and stop loss level. And this is what happens. Boom, a huge candlestick towards the downside, reaching your stop loss level, even though it broke through the downtrend on the 30-minute time frame. So how do we prevent this from happening? So the very first thing you want to identify, where did this actual bullish candlestick closed? And if we just draw this across, we can see that it is on an area of resistance. And potentially this could have been a slight range in market on the higher time frames, which straight away makes you wonder, why would we enter on the 30-minute bullish engulfing candlestick? Have we looked at the higher time frames? Well, we haven't. And if we did, we could have potentially prevented this loss from happening. And what's super important over here, this huge wick on the 1 hourly time frame never broke the area of resistance. This previous area level, we move it. Look at this. Area of support, area of resistance once again makes a strong solid area of sensitivity. This wick, although it had a huge push towards the upside, actually closed below the trend line that we have, which shows that a false breakout has happened. So to prevent this from happening, we don't want to chase these parabolic moves. Huge short bursts towards the upside like this is a one-way ticket for your account balance to hell. And these moves are tough to swallow. They will kick your ass emotionally and do the same thing with your account balance at the same time. So what we actually wanted to do with this trade is understand where the market actually is and which direction it's traveling. So you want to follow, in this case, the logical 1 hour time frame. And if we just draw a trend line just over here, we can spot that the market has been going towards the downtrend very nicely. Every time the markets reached our trend, it went towards the downside. Look at this, a nice touch goes down, a nice touch goes down. Sometimes it doesn't even touch or has a smaller downtrend, as you can see like this, which is also a squeeze. That's totally fine. But overall, every time it touches, goes down. Even though we had that initial move towards the upside, what happened? It closed below the trend line and went towards the downside. So now that we understand that the overall market direction is towards the downside, we have our resistance and support levels drawn out. All we want to do now is wait for an actual breakout towards the downside. We don't want to be trading towards the upside because the overall trend direction at the moment is bearish, and very likely the higher time frames are following the same patterns. So let's see what happens. And it dips down just like that on the 1 hour time frame. A huge bearish engulfing candlestick has developed. Now this is a proper breakout. Why? Because it broke past this area of sensitivity properly. It also had build up, right? Every single time. Look at this. Nice little range just over here. Breakout. Pulls back to the previous area sensitivity. Goes down lower. Need a little build up. There we go, build up once again, and we are going lower. Just look what happened just over here. Although it closed lower than here, it didn't straight away go down because it didn't have the build up, right? After a push, there's an exhaustion. Imagine the candlesticks being like a Roman army. They need to relax and rest and recoup before they can actually prepare for battle properly. So they have the exhaustion just over here. They rest, they relax. The bears are in the market, the Roman soldiers, and what happens? It dips down nicely and they take over another part of the world. Now we want to talk about entry and stop loss as well with the breakout. Look at this. The first example that we saw just over here would have had a horrible stop loss. This stop loss over here had just a random one, but honestly, where would you have to actually put it? Probably would be around here if this candlestick was in here, right? Just below the previous area of support, right? This wouldn't give you the best risk to reward ratio because of that initial push or move towards the upside. It would be sucky, right? So you don't want that. Now that we actually established where the actual breakout happened, we can definitely enter this trade short, and we can put our stop loss just above this previous area of support, which became resistance. And we could definitely make this trade a 2-to-1 to 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, depending on how willing you want to enter on this trade. So let's say we do 2-to-1 for this example, and let's see where the market takes us after this breakout. And look at this, it dips down nicely, has a little pullback, and can we get a nice trade towards the downside? And there we go. And we reach our take profit level very nicely with a nice breakout trading strategy. Okay, so some people ask me, well, sometimes I can't wait for a breakout to happen. And that's a valid point. We all have a life, we all work, we all do something in our lives, right? So that's where the TradingView alert system is great. So if you just go to TradingView alert, just over here. So for example, we want to be crossing maybe the 1.000 level. So there we go. We set it up. We can have our options set to only once or every time. So expiration time, let's say if it doesn't trigger for today, we forget about it. And you can actually receive notifications, pop-ups via email or even your mobile phone, which is super awesome. If we just click more actions, you can actually see send email to SMS. And then the message would say EURUSD crossing 1.000 level. And this is what you like. And create. Once you create the alert, you will have a line just over here or wherever you set. So if we get a breakout of this area zone 1.000, which is also the psychological level. So it's a price level that has huge impact, whether it's a resistance or support. If it gets broken towards the downside, I can guarantee you that it will come down a few hundred pips or so. So now I would like to show you another example of a false breakout that I believe is very important. Let's say if you see something like this, an area of sensitivity, as you can see, was broken, right? Why was it broken? Because of this bullish engulfing candlestick, huge move towards the upside. As I said, you don't want to be chasing these huge parabolic moves towards the upside because likely there's going to be an exhaustion, and we can see it just over here. But why was there an exhaustion? Well, again, if we're trading the 4-hourly time frame, we want to be looking at the daily time frame and see where the market actually is, and is there a support and resistance on the higher time frames that's preventing the candlesticks to push further. And as we thought, there is an area of sensitivity. This was the previous area zone or resistance in this case, and this is the second one forming. Because this was the previous high, we are attempting to break it. If there's not enough bullish pressure, there's likely going to be a lot of resistance, which means that bears are going to step in the market and push down. So once again, this brings us to another pattern that we see just over here. It's currently squeezing in between the two. If it breaks towards the downside, as I said, that's where the alert would be triggered. And if it actually manages to break towards the upside, I would recommend to wait for a breakout on the daily time frame, just so we are past this area level. Then we can consider entering bullish trades for a nice little bull run till the next area of resistance. So the exact same thing can be found on the lower time frames, such as the 5-minute, 1-minute, 15-minute, and so on. We're currently on the 5-minute time frame on EURUSD, and if we just draw this trend just over here, we can potentially see a nice breakout, right? It did break out, but we can also see that there is a huge wick, which shows that there is a lot of buying pressure happening, which is already an indication that maybe we should hold off and not take this trade to the sell side, because bullish pressure might come in. And if we have a look, the overall trend in direction has been a nice little push, a nice little range, and a nice little push once again. After that, push exhaustion, right? the same cycle happens. So let's just see what is happening on the higher time frame now. So if we're on the 5 minutes, let's take a look at the 15, and we can see a totally different scenario, right? What you could have thought for the 5-minute time frame, this parabolic move or the fear of missing out, oh shit, it's going down, we should be selling. No, no, no. Have a look, chill out, clear your mind, have a look what's happening on the higher time frame before you actually commit to a trade. Because we cannot control what the market does, but what we can do is actually do the homework prior to make the best chance possible for a profitable, good trade. And as we can see, a bullish engulfing candlestick forms, totally rejects this area line, and likely is going to be heading towards the upside, as you can see. And this could have been a great breakout trade. I would have traded it a little bit differently. I would have longed just over here. It's more of a trend continuation trade. After the bullish engulfing candlestick, since the market was trending up, you could have potentially longed this position. But this is another topic for another day. So breakout trading can exhaust all your emotional energy if you're not right. But do you know how to charge your emotional energy? Is by educating yourself and watching this video next to learn more about trading. Enjoy.